Assalamu alaikum. And I'm seeing so many faces that we journeyed here together. And on the campaign trail, I was very clear that you were going to see Muslims in my administration and that I was not going to disappear. I had the opportunity over the last Ramadan period to visit many of your mosques and celebrate. Brother Bahi organized for us for the first time visiting a mosque in all the boroughs in the city and to pray with you and to worship with you and just to fellowship with you. When you look at this administration, you have to see the role that my Muslim brothers and sisters played. In general, all the various groups in the city was extremely significant during this race. But when you look at Brother Bahi and Brother Hassan, who were with me for so many years and reached out to many of you and said that this is our brother and we need to support him because he has been with us for so long. And they knew the story, they knew the narrative. They knew that back in 2001, when the entire community was demonized because of someone abusing Islam for their own purpose in the 9/11 attacks, when others turned their backs on the Muslim community, I turned towards the community and rallied with them and stood with them. They knew when Donald Trump put in the Muslim ban, and we organized with the Yemenis community and had one of the largest rallies to show support at Brooklyn Borough Hall, closing down the bodegas and coming out in support. They knew even when they knew even when Greg Ball, go look him up, a senator in the state senate, attempted to desecrate the Quran on the floor of the Senate, and I told him if he did, I would knock him out right on the floor. They knew when the sisters who wore hijabs were being attacked. We rallied with the men of the community and went took a bus on to Staten Island because the sister was harassed on that bus. We stood together. They knew when someone put out a flyer of Kill a Muslim Day that we walked the streets together to show our support and solidarity. They know that I am not a new friend. I'm an old and consistent friend. And you have been a consistent friend to me. And I think Jamani said it best. It is time for you to embrace your political power and strength. It's time for you to embrace it. You have lived in the shadows of the American experience. You have allowed others to speak on your behalf. It is time for you now to look at the powers of 1 million Muslims. Every mosque should be ensuring, if you are a member of the mosque, that you should be a member of voting and be registered to vote. And you cannot do it loosely. Every bodega should have voter registration forms. Yes, sir. Every mosque and imam should be talking about the power and leading up to the connectivity of the vote. Yes. Why is that important? We were in the Bronx worshiping, and the imam stopped me after the service and stated for years they wanted to get the right for a sewer system so that they can worship in their mosque. And every time they tried, they were unable to do so because they were falling on deaf ears. When I went back to the office, within minutes, not days, not weeks, not in years, within minutes, he had the authorization to do what he needed to build that school. And the reason that happened is because he had a mayor that he called me on my cell phone, and we spoke directly to resolve the issue. That is what happens when you put your person in office. And your vote is too powerful for you to continue not to energize and mobilize that vote to deal with the issues that impact you. It was you that said to me, you wanted halal food in school. You got halal food in school. It was you that told me that you wanted a place for your children to be able to have prayer.
Yes.
And when we read in the New York Times the other day that the young sisters could not pray, I immediately reached out to the chancellor and said, that's unacceptable. You will have a place to pray in your school. When those same young sisters stated that they cannot swim separately because they're uncomfortable to swim with the male students, they were told it was not possible. I reached out to the chancellor and said they will be accommodated and allowed to swim separately. Because I follow the law, but I make the policy. And if the policy has been keeping you out, we are going to make sure the policy now bring you in. But we are able to do that because of your vote.
Yes.
If you are not using your vote, then you're going to always have people tell you what can't be done instead of people saying to the city, let's get it done. That's why your vote is important. If you did not vote and have a mayor in place that know you, your young children would not be able to pray as they want inside a school building. Your young children would not be able to have separate ways to swim to represent your religion. Your young children would not have the halal food that you fought for. You would not have the things you asked for if you stay in the shadows of political power. You must now come in the sunlight of political power, and you have to do it by registering to vote. Register to vote. And as I've been saying, as I conclude, and I want to thank both Balo and my brother George. I don't know if George Oates is here from Eid Millan Health. George, come up here, George. This brother is constantly supporting initiatives. He does it so often. Thank you so much, brother. Good to see you. But I say this over and over again. We are at an important place, and if you heard me during Ramadan, I'll say it again. You got to be more than devoted worshipers. You have to be devoted practitioners. Can't just be devoted worshipers. I don't want you just to come and pray and then go out into our communities and see hell. Has to be aligned together. If we're devoted in our faith, then we cannot have the level of gun violence we see in our city. Yes, we should be doing security patrols in our community so that our sisters are able to move to and from where they want to, and that we should be engaging the young people on the street that are participating in gun violence. We are supposed to be speaking with them and talking them down from the violence that they are experiencing. We're seeing a large population of our young brothers who are coming from the continent of Africa who are feeling isolated and mistreated, we need to be embracing them, bringing them inside the mosque, and giving them the teaching they deserve so they won't be turning to violence or feeling as though they're not part of the American experience. What good is it that we are inside worshiping while criminals are out being practitioners destroying our children? Fentanyl is on the rise in all of our communities. Our children are participating in the use of fentanyl, overdose, killing themselves, using it. While we're in the mosque, the church, the synagogue, the Baptist, the Buddhist temples, while we're inside being worshipers, drug dealers are being practitioners. And they're selling drugs to our children. So it is time for us to take our moment of being devoted worshipers and go out and be devoted practitioners. Because that is what Allah is going to judge us on. That's what God is going to judge us on. He's not going to judge us just on how many times we pray. He's going to judge us on, have we been good Muslims? Have we been good Christians? Have we been good Jewish faith, Sikh, and all the other religions in this city? That is what we're going to be judged on. What was the life we lived outside of our houses of worship, not the life we live inside our houses of worship? It is easy to live a good life within your houses of worship in a sterilized environment of the comfort of the place that you go to worship. The real challenge that's before you is to take your faith and actualize it in the community that you're supposed to see. People should see Allah in you outside of the mosque. That's what you see. If you live in Brownsville and there's a mosque there, that should be the safest community in the city. If you live in the Bronx and there's a mosque there, that should be the safest place that it should be. People should walk in our communities and they should say, I see God. That's what they should say. So here's my question that I'm asking you. Right now, do people see God? Yes. Do they see it in our streets? Do they see it in our schools? Do they see it in our stores? Do they see it in our shops? Is this a city where people believe the faithful live? That's the question. People should know when you arrive in New York, you see the faithful. They should know that this is a place of faith. That's what my belief is. And it doesn't take much. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m., no matter what I'm doing, I'm on 34th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue, handing out food to people with Alibaba and others. And you know what I see on the line? I see Muslims. I see Christians. I see people who are Sikh. I see all the faith on that line. We can't just pray about it. We got to be about it. And so during this Eid, let's renew our faith. Let's take our faith to another level. And I want to be clear. I can't speak on who else used to be in this house called Gracie Mansion. But I can tell you this. The mayor of this city is a mayor that believes in God. It's a mayor of faith. Because you can't go from being dyslexic, arrested, rejected, and now I'm elected to be the mayor of the most powerful city without your faith. Without your faith. And so, I thank you for being here. I thank you for your prayers. I thank you for your devotion to your faith. I thank you for lifting each other up. And I'm thanking you for the city we are going to build together.
Yes.
I leave you in the same way that I greeted you. Let peace be upon you. Thank you so much.
Patay na.